I'm going to demonstrate how to take XY coordinates and bring them into ArcMap. So first thing you need is an Excel spreadsheet or a table that has your XY coordinates. So here's 4 points. I have latitude, longitude, and point location. Remember, in the northwest, longitude is going to be negative. I don't have any spaces in the names. I don't have any extra information on this spreadsheet. I've also changed the name of the worksheet to lat long so I can identify it later. I click in cell A1, I save it and close it, and then back in ArcMap I go to File, Add Data, I add XY data, and I'm going to locate that spreadsheet. And this just happened to default to that one, so there it is. I opened up the points spreadsheet, I click on the worksheet that I had, and if I've set my data up correctly, the X field will be identified as longitude, the Y field will be identified as latitude. And so there's two places students often make errors. One is that your X field comes in as latitude and your Y field as longitude, and this will put your points in a whole different location. So you want to make sure that X is longitude, Y is latitude. The second problem is latitude and longitude are collected in a geographic coordinate system. These are not projected pieces of information, yet they may show a projection in your description, whether that's because you want to choose a projection that you want to use later or your map has a projection. But they are unprojected at this point, so you need to select Geographic Coordinate System World WGS 84. And so that's the description of these points. And it's going to ask you if you want to create an ID field, and so there are my points. And I can label those by the location field, label and point locale. There you go, there's my points. Now, XY coordinates brought in this way are only temporary, so I need to make them permanent. And there's two things I can do. One is I can export the data as a shapefile. I have to choose Save Type as Shapefile, and I'm going to name it. Just one dot. And it asks me if I want to put that on the map, which is fine. And I can also, so if I do this, if we look at the properties and the source, it's still in a geographic coordinate system. I had trouble with this earlier, so I'm going to try. If it doesn't work, we're just going to call it good. But let's say I want to actually put them in my feature data set, and I open up my points. I know my geodatabase is here. Why can't I see it? Because it says Save Type As. So I'm going to choose Feature File and Personal Geodatabase. Now I can see my geodatabase. I can open that. I can open the feature data set. I can save my points. This is where I got an error earlier, so if I get an error, we're just going to close it, but this will work for you, I promise. I choose Save. Okay. Oh, good, it worked. And it asks me, do I want to add it to the map? And I do, and you can see how much different this looks in the table of contents. Here's my shapefile points. Here's my points in my geodatabase feature data set. And if I look at my properties, my projection, this has reprojected that information to the same projection as my other data. So that now I don't need my events any longer. I can remove those. And one thing you want to think about is sometimes you may have your data listed this way, But you can get a lot of information by clicking on the table of contents here and list by source, and this is a great way to kind of make sure you know where your information is and where it's coming from. I can also change the order of the layers, although this one doesn't make much difference, by choosing that tab.